Hello. I hope all of you teachers are off to a great start. It's kind of nice. We've just finished our second week of school here and it's been pretty good so far. Busy. I've been really busy with kids. I think we're still trying to get into a routine of what we really want to do. But anyways, so I thought today I'll do one more video about the POA. It's called, in our chapter, it's called POA Day. So we celebrate the POA. It's also a good way to develop your POA, making sure that all of your FFA members can participate in that activity. So let's do a little background on POA Day. So again, your POA is your chapter activities for a period of time. Usually it's the school year. Okay, I always go from August to July, but you can set your POA dates to whatever you want. So, but it's your call. So there's a little bit of a pre-prep for that. So what do I do? First of all, you gotta break your kids up into committees. And sometimes that can get pretty challenging. So one thing that I do, and you gotta remember, all of my kids help with POA. I'm affiliated chapter, which means, all of 100%. But some kids just don't participate. It's what it is. I don't harp on those kids, but they do know that at times they might have to do a little bit with FFA, and all of my students do something anyways with FFA. If it's entering their projects at the state fair, entering a crop sample at the state crop show, helping with a community service project, they're all doing something. A lot of my kids think FFA, and the first thing that jumps to mind is a CDE. I have a lot of kids who don't do CDEs, and I tell them it's perfectly fine. So how do I break my kids up? I break them up according to their class that I have them, okay? So I don't mix a student from first hour and second hour and make that a committee. Like, I break them up. For example, today, I have a small first hour, 5 kids. It's my second smallest. That's one committee. They're my safety committee this year. I decided that because those kids are pretty good at planning. Plus they were on it last year and they planned a pretty fun activity. So then I go to second hour. Second hour is my, usually either it's 8th or 7th grade. That class plans one activity together, and this year I gave them environmental. And then let's jump to my 4th hour. So my 4th hour has 12 kids in it, but I broke that up into 3 committees. Okay? My 5th hour had 19 today. That ended up being 4 committees. So you're understanding how I'm doing that. And the way I break them up is their interest level, their skill level, their achievement level. So I sometimes give them some kids that achieve well. I sometimes give them the ones that are a little more challenging. Like, I always think agriculture advocacy is the most challenging one. So I give that to the kids that might, I hate to say it, be a little smarter. Common sense. They understand what advocacy is, and then they go from there. So you got to do that. So that's how I do that. And then what I do, it's nothing formal, so I just write groups here. So as you can see, if you look on safety, right here, it just says first. So I know first hour is going to do that. And then if I look at environmental, it just says 8th grade right here. And then, for example, I look at healthy lifestyles, Carter, Peyton, Ryland, and Hunter. They were all in my 6th hour class. They're all active in sports. They made up that committee. So that's the first thing I do. All right. Then the second thing I have is I just make a sheet here, and then SMART goals go on back. Sometimes they will plan more and they just write them here, okay? And then I also give the kids this sheet. You can find this on the handbook. It just has the 3 divisions, then has each of the descriptions of the standard and then suggested activities that help kids develop something. Okay, so that's done. So the students members get these 2 things. All right, what else do I do for this activity? This has gotten to be an activity that I just plan. It used to be a chapter officer activity. You can make it a chapter officer activity because it can be a recruitment. So chapter recruitment could be your POA day because you're going to get everyone involved, okay? And you can divide it up evenly. My groups always seem to, and I don't plan it this way, my groups always seem to have a veteran FFA member and a new FFA member. It's crazy, those 15 committees that I create always has someone veteran on it, someone new on it. They help each other. All right, so then they come up with their activity. I might suggest something that they will do. Sometimes, I tell the group, you know what, you're gonna have to come up with something. I'm drawing a blank. All right, so they go through that process, and then I'm gonna turn you guys here. So hang on for a second. I'm gonna turn you here. So on the board, as you can see on the board here, I have growing leaders, building communities, strengthening agriculture, and then I have underneath the 5 standards in each of them, okay? And then what happens here is once they decide on it, I just write in another color. If you look at leadership over there, they're going to do something with harvesting. Their activity is going to be called Harvesting Leaders, and so they're going to do an activity with that. So those are the activities that we will now start planning out for the rest of the school year. So that's kind of nice. Also, with this activity, since we do the same thing, like I said before, you can use POA Day probably as a chapter recruitment. So we only have, I'm down to 2 goals for this. So the first one is plan the 15 activities. Okay, we've done that. Our second goal is also to support 1 local baker. We celebrate this day. So you probably can't see it. So our national chapter awards are over there. Let's see if I can bend you guys down here. We decorate the table. We also put our current awards that we have earned for our national chapter here, because I tell the kids in the end, our POA becomes our national chapter app. So we decorate, but then we also support, our second goal is we support a local baker. So we have snacks. So that's a goal that we have. So POA Day has gone down to 2 goals as of right now. Planning the 15 activities and supporting a local baker with purchasing cupcakes for the POA Day celebration. So yeah, so that's what POA Day is for us. Fairly easy way in my mind to plan your POA. So the kids have come up with the activity, the description name, the goals, the plan of action. My job now as the teacher is I will now go enter all of that into AET so that we can submit our program of activities to the state office, and then we can go from there and starting to do the activities. And once the activities are done, I go ahead with the kids and then we fill out the results section. So other than that, POA Day is a great way to complete your POA with a little bit of excitement. So, all right, we'll see you on the next video. Don't know what the topic is yet, but I hope